Alright, today we are going to take a look at Module 3, Day 3. We're going to be talking today about slope and equations of lines. And so we're going to start off with just stating the slope of each equation, and then using those slopes to state whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or they're just intersecting in some other way. Alright, so if we look at this first equation, y equals 3x minus 9, obviously we can see from this equation the slope is this 3 in front of the x. So the 3 is our slope for the first equation. Now, the second equation, we have to do a little bit of algebra in order to tell what the slope is, because we need to get y by itself. So to get y by itself, the first thing we do is subtract x from both sides. So we get 3y equals negative x plus 12. And then we need to divide both sides by 3 to get y by itself. Y equals negative 1/3 x plus 4. The 4 is our y-intercept, but we don't need that right now. All we need is the negative 1/3. Alright, and now, looking at those two, positive 3 and negative 1/3, I can see that those are opposite and they are reciprocals. So therefore, those are perpendicular. Okay, moving on to this next one, 3x plus 2y equals 7. Again, we're going to need to get y by itself, so we're going to do some algebra. Subtract 3x from both sides. Gives me 2y equals negative 3x plus 7, and then divide by 2. So our slope is negative 3 halves x plus 7 halves. So our slope is negative 3 over 2. And then for this second equation, y is almost by itself. We just need to divide both sides by 3, not y. I don't know why I wrote that, sorry. And that leaves us with 4 over 3x plus 7/3. 4/3 is our slope, because it goes in front of the x. Now, negative 3 halves, 4/3, those are not opposite reciprocals, and they're obviously not the same, so we would say those are neither parallel nor perpendicular. Alright, so example 2 here, what we're going to be doing is we're asked to write an equation of a line described by these scenarios. So it goes through the point 3, 1 and is parallel to y equals 4x minus 6. Well, I know that any line that is parallel is going to have the same slope. So I know the slope is going to be 4. Okay, so now that I have the slope of 4, I can use point slope form to do y minus 1 equals 4 parentheses x minus 3, because I just plug in the 1 for my y sub 1 and my x from, or my 3 is my x sub 1 in the point slope form to get that set up. Distribute the 4, so 4x minus 12, and then add 1 to both sides, and I get 4x minus 11. And that is my answer. Okay, moving on to this next one. Parallel to y equals 3x plus 2. Parallel, again, means same slope. So I know my slope is 3. So I set this up in point slope form. Y minus 2, because that's my x sub 1 and y sub 1, equals 3 parentheses x minus 1. Distribute the 3. Make that 3x minus 3. Add 2 to both sides. Y equals 3x minus 1. Alright, and that is my equation. Alright, line that goes through 3, 2 and is perpendicular to negative 3x plus 4y equals 16. Well, for something to be perpendicular, it has to have an opposite reciprocal slope. And for us to be able to figure out what the slope of the original line was, we have to get it y by itself in slope-intercept form. So we've got some algebra to do just to get it to where we can figure out the slope. So we need to add 3x to both sides. That gives me, not yy, that would be bad. 4y equals 3x plus 16. And then we divide both sides by 4. Y equals 3/4 x, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So that gives us our original slope of 3/4. Now, for it to be perpendicular, it needs to be opposite reciprocal. So the slope needs to be the opposite, so it was positive, so it needs to be negative, and reciprocal means we flip top and bottom. So instead of 3/4, it's 4/3. Okay, so now that we have the slope established, now we're going to plug in this point 3, 2 into slope-intercept, or point-slope form, I should say. Y minus 2 equals negative 4/3 times x minus 3. So y minus 2, distribute the negative 4/3. And the negative 3 is going to cancel out, so we just have plus 4. Then we add 2 to both sides. So y equals negative 4/3 x plus 6. And that is my correct equation. Alright, goes through the point 8, negative 6, and is perpendicular to 4x minus y equals 9. Okay, again, perpendicular means opposite reciprocal slope. And to figure out what the original slope was, we need to get the y by itself. So we'll subtract 4x from both sides. So negative y equals negative 4x plus 9. Divide both sides by negative 1. So y equals 4x minus 9. So that's my original slope of 4. Now my opposite reciprocal slope then would be negative because it was positive. And we flip the top to bottom, so instead of 4/1, it's 1/4. And now I take that point of 8, negative 6, plug that in. So y minus negative 6, so y plus 6. When you subtract a negative, it's like adding a positive. So y plus 6 equals, and then my slope is negative 1/4, x minus 8. So y plus 6 equals negative 1/4 x, and negative 1/4 of negative 8 is positive 2. And then we subtract 6 from both sides to get y equals negative 1/4 x minus 4. And that is the equation of the line that is perpendicular and goes through that point. Alright, find the value of x or y that satisfies the given conditions. Alright, so we are told the line containing negative 4, 9 and 4, 3 is parallel to the line containing negative 8, 1 and 4, and we don't know. That's our unknown. So we're trying to figure out what could go there. Well, the first thing we need to do is figure out the slope of the first line. The first line slope is, we can find by finding the difference in x's over the difference in y's, and we can do that by using the slope formula. So we could do 3 minus 9 over 4 minus negative 4, which is the same thing as plus 4. 3 minus 9 is negative 6. 4 plus 4 is 8. And negative 6 over 8 can simplify to negative 3 over 4. Okay, so we know that the slope is negative 3/4. So by using that negative 3/4, it's parallel, so that means it's the same. I can then set this equation up as x1, y1, x2, y2. So we could say y, because we don't know that y2, y minus 1 over 4 minus negative 8, which is plus 8. Now we can simplify. I know that 4 plus 8 is 12, so y minus 1 over 12. Trying to get y by itself, so I multiply both sides by 12. And that cancels out that. 12 divided by 4 is, that makes that 3, and 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So that leaves me with negative 9 equals y minus 1. So if I just add 1 to both sides, I get that y is negative 8. And we can check that. We could do negative 8 minus 1 over 4 plus 8. Negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. 4 plus 8 is 12. And that simplifies to negative 3/4. So we have found our correct number. Our y is negative 8. Alright, that does it for today's lesson. Be sure to complete your assignment, and if you have any questions, shoot me a message on Canvas or email, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks. Bye.